Hey knitters, come sit by me. All right, welcome to this Hey Knitters episode. Today I need some help picking what to make next. I've been delaying casting on something new because I watched this video. I think it might have been Anastasia from Free Your Sheep, and she was talking about finishing 2 whips before starting a new cast on. I think she heard it from someone else as well. And that kind of resonated with me because I do have some whips, I do have some things to finish, and like most of us, I do go for the new and shiny when it comes to casting on and my creativity. And so I thought, no, I'm gonna do that. And so I haven't cast anything on for fall yet. And I know it's already mid-October. But of course here in Spain, you know, I'm not wearing any knitwear today. It's cool mornings, I can get away with knitwear, but that's about it. So I still have lots of time to get something new on the needles. I have finished a few things recently. I'm going to show you that in my knitting podcast next week. But for now, you can see that I have some new pretties. I have some yarns that are reclaimed. I have some yarns that I purchased. I have some patterns I'm thinking of, and I need you to help me decide what to cast on next. So I'm going to ask you to write down in the comments what you think should be my first cast on of fall. Another thing is I'm working a lot right now because I'm covering a maternity leave, and so I'm teaching more at the university. I teach musical theater. So I really want to be organized in my makes and also in my YouTube videos so that I can make sure that nothing falls off the table. So one thing I've decided to do in order to up my game in organization, which is just not natural for me, is I'm taking a class on Skillshare on Notion. And this is an app that I've had on my iPad forever. My kids are well versed in it. I just don't get it. It does not make sense to my brain. So thankfully Skillshare, who is the sponsor of this episode, they have all of these learning paths and all of these courses. And one of them that I thought would be amazing for me would be Notion. So Skillshare is this huge online learning community for creatives like me, where we can both dive into our creativity through things like illustration and graphic design and photography, but then we can also do the other side, which is like organization, productivity. I also want to take a class on LumaFusion, which is a editing software that I think I've owned for 2 years and have opened once. So I have my eye on that class. I love that it's an on-demand platform, so I can just pick something that I'm interested in diving deeper into and just sort of follow that rabbit hole wherever it goes. And that's when this class on Notion came up for me, and I thought that's perfect because it's not a super long class. It's only an hour and 45 minutes. I can actually work it into my breaks at work, and I'll have my iPad right there with me, and I can, because it's project-based, when I get to the end of it, I'll be able to use Notion to organize both my work stuff, but also my crafting and my YouTube. The first 500 people to click on my link below will get a free month of Skillshare to try out and just follow your creativity. Thanks Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Okay, so here are the things I want to make. Let me know below which you think I should start with and cast on right now. First off, I did get accepted to the Staffin cardigan test knit for Rebecca, the Crayabea. I'll put in a picture of this cardi. I'm doing the V-neck cardi, but the pattern's gonna have a crew neck sweater, I think it's a crew neck sweater, a crew neck cardi, a V-neck cardi, and a vest. I love the texture, and honestly at first I was not so sure because of the baubles, because I don't really like doing baubles, but she's come up with a new way of doing them. They're not actual baubles. There's another name for it, I can't remember, but when I saw that and she was talking about it in her video, I thought, okay, now this is something I can do. So it's a worsted weight cardigan. It's super cute. I have a couple possibilities of what I can make it with. So number one, I could make it with this Cascade 220 that I have in red. Ironically, this is leftover from a frogged test that I did for Sari Nordlund for the Billy pullover. I completed the portion that I needed for the test, and then I didn't want to continue with it. So I actually frogged it. Ironically, Rebecca and I both did that same test. And so I have this, and I have enough. So this would be nice because the color is lovely and rich. I still think it would show the texture off nicely. Okay, the barking dog has gone back inside. Here are our options. Like I said, we have this Cascade 220, which looks really beautiful on camera, and it would show the texture off really nicely. It is not picky. I mean, it's a V-neck cardigan, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, maybe not the most inspiring. Okay, but other than that, lovely. I bought some Nutiden. So you guys know Nutiden is an unspun yarn from Sweden by the company Honoraire. And they do, I think it's maybe eight releases a year. And once it's gone, it's gone. It's a one-time thing. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, but there's like tiny little flecks of pink and like almost a corally color. It's lovely. And I wanted to show you here what it comes in. It comes in a paper bag. That's the name, Ornament. And then they tape it with this. Yeah, so, oops, ball's going flying. I love it. I really love it. And I've only bought Nutiden once before, just because it's an investment and I've only bought it once, but I loved working with it. It made me really happy. It does not bother me, the fact that it's unspun and sometimes it pulls apart. Maybe if you were a really tight knitter, it might be more challenging, but for me, I'm not a really tight knitter, so I love it. I bought 400 grams this time. Last time, if you'll remember my snowy forest, which I'll put in a picture, I only bought 300 grams and I didn't have enough to finish the sweater. And I ended up just doing the second part stranded with something else. And even though I said I didn't mind it, I don't love it. It really bothers me every time I wear it because I love the feeling of the Nutiden double stranded, and the bottom of the sweater just feels and wears differently. But Mega from Skeins of Dreams also bought the same color. And I think for some reason that we were talking about it, we have a group chat, and she offered to sell me, well, she offered to like give it to me for whatever I wanted, but I'm gonna give her the market rate, 200 grams of hers, because I think she has 500 grams and she doesn't figure she's gonna need that. So I'm getting 200 grams of the Vanessa color, and I'm going to chop off the bottom of that sweater and reknit the bottom of it. And I'm so, so happy. I'm so excited to do that. That will be later on though. That'll be maybe a Christmas project kind of thing. Anyway, so I have this. I could use this for the test knit as well. I don't think I want to though. We'll talk about what I'm gonna do with this afterwards. Okay, the other option for the test knit is the original yarn for the test is Lumme Sweater. And Rauma's a Norwegian brand. My daughter is 18 now, and she is going on a trip this week to Stockholm and Oslo. And I thought, oh my gosh, she could get me some of the Norwegian yarn. So that's the other possibility. So I'll put in a picture of the Lumme Sweater, and then there's also a Hillesvåg one, Hillesvåg Fina or something like that, that is also the right weight. And so I'm thinking about that. So I've actually reached out to Inga from the Knitting Traditions, who I chat with occasionally on Instagram, and I said to her, what Norwegian yarn should I get? So I might do that. So here's the question. Question number one, for my test knit, should I use the Cascade 220 or should I get some Norwegian yarn and maybe in like I'm leaning towards like a beigey brown or maybe a blue, maybe like a really nice blue. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Okay, there's that. Next, let's go back to the Nutiden. So I've done a deep dive, and I don't know if you guys know how to do this, but when you go on to Ravelry, you can click yarns. I'm going to show you. You can click yarns, and then you can put in Nutiden, and then you can look at all the projects, and you can also click pattern ideas at the top, and you can scroll through. So I scrolled through 52 pages of pattern suggestions from Ravelry. It's in my favorites. If you guys ever want, you can follow me on Ravelry and you can actually look at my favorites and see all the things that I've been thinking of. So there's the diamond jumper from Ventzel. And these are things that people have already knitted in Nutiden Held Double, so I know that it'll work, or it should work. So the diamond jumper from Ventzel. The question is, do I want to do an all over texture? Because my test knit's also an all over texture. Do I want something more mindless, more just stockinette? Maybe. But I do think that this texture would be super pretty in the Nutiden if you see the picture. And I do love a turtleneck. When I'm cold in the winter, like I want things warm, warm, warm. I don't want a V-neck in the winter, like in the winter, you know what I mean? So there's that. There's this one from Eri Shimizu called the Sophie sweater. And this one has like a cool detail. It also has a high neck. It looks like gorgeous and comfy. And then it looks like there's other colors kind of woven in, and some people have done really cool versions. I also love the seam detail down the back. I don't know, it's kind of cool and artistic, and I want to do something interesting with this. I don't want to just do something very plain. I've already done a few of those, so I want something interesting in some way. And then the other possibility could be this Kume sweater by Vanessa Pellisa, who is, I think she lives in Catalonia actually. I could be wrong. I'm sure she's Spanish. I think she might live in Catalonia. This one has some very cool details. It has really cool cable on the arms. It has a really nice cable detail on the raglan, as well as an interesting hem. That could be nice as well. Okay, so question number 2. Let me know below. Should I make the Kume, the Sophie, or the diamond jumper in this? Let me know what you think. Okay, so the Tulip Loop sweater by Other Loops came out in August, and I love it. I really, really love the details on it. I love that it's got some cables, that the cables meet in the center and the back. I think it's super pretty. I think it's a classic that you could wear forever and ever, and it would be just interesting enough for me to, you know, delve into making it and not over complicated in terms of the cables. They have another version as well that's more, I'll put the name on the screen, that has like a funnel neck or a turtleneck, as well as some moss stitch. But I thought, you know what, that's like a bit more than I want right now. I think this one is perfect. So I think for this, I might use some reclaimed yarn, and I'm still unraveling it, but I'm going to show you what the fabric looks like of this sweater. So this was a very oversized, shapeless, size large sweater. I find these days for me, like as I've gotten a little older, put on a little bit of, not weight exactly, but like my shape has changed, is a better way to put it. I find like medium to size large is like what I like to buy now, because it just makes me feel comfortable. I don't want anything too tight against me, and I find like a medium large is perfect. So that's what I was looking for when I came across this sweater. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. So you can see here that I'm still unraveling it. You can see the fiber. Let me get myself out of the way here. Can you see that? So one thing with reclaimed yarn is it doesn't tend to be twisted, maybe because it doesn't need to be in a knitting machine. So you can see the plies. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think, plies. This is wool Angora cashmere blend. So it's really soft, it's really warm, and I think it would show off the texture of the sweater really, really well. So I think that's what I want to make with this one. You see here, I just keep, you know that I have a few videos on frogging sweaters, so I'll put a link to that playlist if you'd like. But I think for this one, I would probably hold it double, because I think alone it's probably a DK. I'll have to swatch and figure it out, but yeah, I think I'll use this. So on the list for what to cast on next is the Tulip Loop sweater by Other Loops. So then I have another thing that I'm debating on. I have some cashmere yarn. Again, this is reclaimed yarn. This one I've wound double. So this is a cream cashmere, 100% cashmere. And then I also have black. So classic cream and black cashmere sweater. I think it needs to be stripes. I think it needs to be a marinière of some kind. And so I have a couple of options here. So I have the Marseille sweater by Petite Knit. The Marseille sweater is not, you know, it's a slightly thicker yarn, I think. It says DK, but I feel like this is more of a sport when held double, and I definitely couldn't hold a triple. So I might have to like make some adjustments on that. Then there's the Seafarer sweater, which is by Camilla Vad. This is for sport weight. So it's a 19 stitch gauge on 4.5mm needles. The only thing is I don't know if I want the circular yoke. I kind of like the straight across, but it's possible. Then there's the Parnell, which is a free pattern from Berroco. This one's a drop sleeve with the stripes going all the way across. I like it. I don't know. It feels maybe a little bit sloppy to me. And then the last option would be Salishell by Kay Hopkins. And again, we've got a nice high neck. We've got the stripes. This is also a sport, but it's 22 stitch gauge on 3.75 millimeter needles. I've been doing a lot of very skinny needles lately, and I was kind of hoping for a little break. I was kind of hoping for something that might knit up a little faster. That said, fine gauge with cashmere is always really, really nice. So our choices are Salishell, Parnell, Seafarer, or Marseille sweater, or the Oslo sweater, and I just make up my own stripe pattern. Tell me what you think. Then I have two smaller kind of slipover-ish type, but a little bit different projects. One of them is the Chouquettes slipover by Yamamuro, and I talked about this one in a few videos ago. I can't remember. I just think this is so nice. I think it's very chic, and it could be very cool for work. It's made in Durera Natura Gilia. I don't really want to buy more yarn. It would be really lovely in this as well, but I don't know that I have enough. So I could always make the tulip loop first and see if I have enough. This really only takes between 200 to 400 meters of yarn. So it's not like it takes a lot. I very well may have enough to do both. I could use this 100% Irish wool, but I worry that, see, even just doing this, no, I can't. Even just doing this, it itches. So this yarn has to be something very chunky and heavy and, well, like an Irish Genser, or you wouldn't call it a Genser. What's the word for an Irish sweater like that? Do you know what I mean? Like a fisherman sweater. So that's a no. The other thing I could use is this, which is the leftovers from this cardigan that I made that I love and I wear it all the time. This is softer on the neck. It's not like soft, but it's definitely not like the other one. And I have almost 200 grams left. So I probably could do it. It's just that the Gilia is so soft. I know how it would feel. It would feel really easy and nice. And so I could also make it in this. It would also be really cool in red and very nice on the neck. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Okay, and the last thing I have, I don't have yarn for yet, but I think it's so cool and it's perfect for this time of year, which is why I want to put it on the list as to whether or not I should do it now. And it's the Livingstone vest by Lily Kate France. I bought it in her, I think she had like an Advent sale maybe last Christmas, something like that. And I bought it and I just thought it's so cool. I love the waist detail. I could see wearing it to work. It's a little extra warmth. Maybe like I could even wear a turtleneck underneath and then put that over top in the winter. But it's also perfect for fall because it doesn't have like the sleeves, right? This is in Aran weight yarn. I probably could get away with using this, but I love the color that she's done it in as well. So I might end up buying yarn for this. It's not a whole lot of yarn. It's 550 to 1,000 meters. Well, 1,000 meters is more. I'm not sure, but I really like the look of it. So yeah. Okay, and the very last option, which maybe is better to save for full winter, but let's drop it in there anyway, is the Lumme from Sari Nordlund. Very popular pattern. Lots and lots of people have made it. This is what I was thinking of using for this fisherman's yarn. And I'm going to experiment with dyeing. So I bought some Rit dye. I think I talked about this previously as well. I bought some Rit dye and I was thinking of dyeing some of this black. Now, I'm a little scared about the bleeding. I'm a little scared about like how much to dye. In the picture, it's black with white accents. I would do the opposite because I think I'd rather not dye so much of it. Although, I don't know. I mean, what's the difference really? If you're gonna dye, you're gonna dye. I don't know, tell me what you think. Black with white accents, white with black accents. I think this should take dye really, really well. I mean, it's just straight, you know, chunky, not chunky, but you know, it's got a lot of body to it. I think it seems really unprocessed. So I feel like it would take the dye really, really well. So maybe I shouldn't worry about it. Have you guys had an experience dyeing with RIT dye? Does it bleed? I'd love to hear about that. Okay, I think that's all of the possibilities. So let me give you a rundown. Now that we've talked it through, I think I can narrow things down a little bit in terms of what I want to cast on next. So should I cast on my test net, which isn't due until January 8th? So I've got a lot of time for that. I don't necessarily have to cast that on first. That, or whatever I choose to do with the Nutiden, or the Tulip pullover, Tulip loop pullover. I think those are the three that I've narrowed it down now that I've talked it out with you guys. Thank you very much. I think that's what I want to do. So Tulip loop pullover, one of the ones with the Nutiden, but tell me which one, and maybe my test net. Those are the three options. Let me know below which you think. Okay guys, that's all for me. Thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Remember to click the link in the description box below, and the first 500 people will get a free month of Skillshare for free. I will be back really, really soon, and I'm going to show you what I've been making and what I've decided to cast on. But please tell me what to make. Tell me. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.